according to this, it's 9 p.m. 9:29 p.m. We're starting a little early, I guess. That's a relief. That's to make up for some of the late ones. We've got our bumper running, of course, and we've got recording turned on. We're streaming to every destination possible, and we have a chat room waiting on Dell, and Dell is waiting to get on the air. So without further ado, counting down to Studio 18. Okay, there we go. Let me make one final adjustment here that I forgot to make. There, that much better. Good evening. I'm Coach Prasick. It's 9:30 now on the East Coast, and it's Tuesday night. That's the night that we all look forward to. That's why everybody's crowding in the chat room. If you're not there yet, there's still a few seats left. You can go to pjnet.tv and you can see the whole thing. You can watch this here and meet some new friends over there. But if you're watching this on Facebook or wherever, social media, and it's 9:30 Tuesday, you're watching it live, we sure do appreciate you joining us there. But we wanted to make sure you're welcome. Okay, Tuesday night, it is time for the most interesting man in the world, Dell Duduit. And Dell joins us every Tuesday night. Boy, how long have we been doing this, Dell?
17 years.
Okay, you're not that old.
Long time. Year and a half.
You only looked at something. Yeah, like that every Tuesday. And
I only missed one time. That was when I was in the hospital.
Oh, gosh, I remember that. Because and get this, folks, he's in the ambulance going to the hospital. I have no idea what's wrong. I get a text. I'm in an ambulance. I'm not going to be there. And it's like, of all the things that were going through your mind, family and friends you wanted to know, notify PJNet, he's not going to be here. But that's how dependable Dell is. And there's a lot to be said for dependability these days. And but anyway, Dell blogs, by the way, if you have not been to his blog, he blogs every Tuesday at delldidway.com. Now, that's not all that he does. He has a lot of other things that he does, but we only have 20 minutes. So this week, Dell, you were sort of taking a melancholy. What's
melancholy?
Yeah, you said it right. Gosh, February, February is kind of a month for me too, because we have Valentine's Day, which I don't particularly care for. I like more spontaneous affection than something that's on a calendar. My father's birthday is in February, and I really miss my father. He was such an impact, but yet, there's so many good things going on. So life is a mixture of the bitter and the sweet.
It is. Is that my cue?
Yeah, I teed it up for you.
Thank you. Well, hey, thanks to everybody, first of all, for being out there in the chat room. I was able to get in tonight for the first time in like 6 weeks. I was able to, because I've been either locked out or something. But Tammy, Rachel, JD, Steve, Ben, Barbara out there. I hope I don't want to forget anybody. And I know Carol's out there from Connecticut. Thank you. And some other folks turning in. Patricia from Columbus, Ohio, OH. And then,
the bloody
Amy
OH
from Dallas.
My dad used to say. Do you realize the Prasick family originated from Ohio?
Yes.
There's a lot of Prasicks up there.
Yes. Yeah. So, yep. So, but yeah, the blog, I kind of just did a little different route. I'm trying to change up gears and go a little different route sometimes. I typically talk about athletes or something. So I wanted to just do something a little different. And, I think one person took the whole blog wrong. They took it as like I was bragging. No, I wasn't bragging about what's happened. I was just telling what's happened, and how ironically that I don't know, would I be sitting here talking to you if the events 6 years ago didn't happen? Because exactly I don't know if I would have gone down the route had not or my sister-in-law passed, because that was, I guess, the motivation or inspiration to write about her story, which led me to, to a writer's conference, which led me to my agent, which led me to all these book contracts. So I don't even know if I'd be sitting here talking to you right now if, my sister-in-law hadn't, if God hadn't chosen to take her again. That was just a different view that I had on that. And it just seems to think out of that bad day in February 6 years ago, there's been a lot of good things happen, not just to me, but I think that's a testimony and a witness to what the power she had and the faith she had, because I wrote about her faith, and then like I said, I blindly reached out to my friend who's now, Michelle Medlock Adams, who I didn't know her. I had no clue who she was.
Didn't someone have to even tell you who to reach out to?
No, I did it.
You did?
I was, the only social media I had 6 years ago was LinkedIn. I didn't have anything. I had no Facebook, had no Twitter, had nothing. I just had LinkedIn. So one day I was scrolling through scrolling one day, and I saw her profile, and I thought we're similar. She's a sports writer. I was a sports writer. Oh, she's an author. I had some questions about writing a book, and I saw she's an author. I thought, she's close. She's Indiana, so just reached out to her, and that was it. I had no clue who she was, except she was an author and she was a sports writer. We had similar backgrounds, so I sent her this message, this direct message. And I said, hi, I'm Dale. I'm not stalking you. I have a question, because she's an attractive lady, and sometimes they get a lot of,
I'm Dale. I'm happily married. I'm not hitting up on you.
I made that, and then right now she's like my sister. We've just grown that close, and so I would not have had any reason to reach out to her. I would not have had a reason to write a manuscript, and so February, although it was a bad day 6 years ago, the following year was when I started writing. It was in February. The following February, 4 years ago, is when I went to, so I met Michelle for the first time at Asheville, and then North Carolina. Then she said, "You got to go down to Florida." So I went down to Florida, and that's where I met Kyle, and he signed me in February. That's where the series, the Decade Devotions, the First Down Devotions, the Twos, the children's books, that's where that series was pitched to me, not like it is today, but just that seed was planted there in February. And then it just seems to snowball, and then this past couple, last week I signed my first children's book in February. And so things just happened in February that just, I don't know if they would have happened. I'm not saying they would have or wouldn't have, but I don't think it's coincidental.
Dale, you're not the first person that has come on this program and said that there was a reversal in their life. Right. And they began to kind of journal it, and do it. And later, some of either the journal itself or some subsequent work wound up getting published. So I guess my question is, and it's hard to get an honest answer, but I hope you'll give me your honest answer, is how much of that writing is just for therapy?
I would say a great deal of it. That's how Kyle got started.
Really?
Kyle, he's told this, so I'm not telling a secret. Their first child was stillborn, and he started writing about that. And I think he always wanted to do that, but I think that was therapy for him. Initially, writing the book was therapeutic, yeah. And I write a lot of stuff I don't even publish. I write a lot of things that just sit on my computer. It is therapeutic. It's a way to vent sometimes. I vented today. I don't know. Today was just stupid person Tuesday day. I think there was just a lot of idiots making comments. And I don't mind if people post if they comment on my post. I rarely. The only thing I comment on other people's posts is I'll give a coffee mug, something high or clap, or it's typically positive. Or else I don't comment at all. But I had a post today. Again, if you're going to comment on my post, be prepared, because I'll fire back at you. And one today, I got to say this. And I posted a picture of, I carry a firearm, right? Concealed carry. I'm a Second Amendment guy. So I just posted a picture of the gun on my side. I said, "This is all the protect." I forget. This is all the protection I need today, something like that, right? And so somebody gets on the, I don't know, this person says, "Well, I have angels all around me. I don't need that." And I thought, really, carrying a weapon and having protection is biblical. What did David do when he faced Goliath? He had a sling and some rocks, right? He
had every intent of using Goliath's sword to behead
exactly. So it is biblical to protect yourself. So I said, so why did David carry a sling and 5 rocks? Well, I don't know. Well, then shut up.
I guess here's the question I might have asked. Sir, do you own an automobile? Mm-hmm. Do you buckle your seatbelt? Oh, well, I thought you had angels protecting.
Yeah,
angels only protect smart people. They don't protect idiots. That's
and there was a lot of other comments. I just said, "Oh my gosh, this is just." I guess we're up here in Ohio and we're starting to thaw out, so some of the stupid people are starting to come out. So I just tolerate it and just. Oh, again, I rarely comment back. But I thought you're an idiot. So but yeah, so it is therapeutic. I think writing for me at times is therapeutic. Sometimes it's entertaining. I wrote a piece today for our local paper that's going to be more entertaining than anything else. So just fun.
Have you ever? I write software, Dale, and I create digital stuff. So I think we're kindred in that sense. But sometimes I just have a need to do some recreational projects. No particular purpose, just do something. You ever just write just to kind of just for yourself?
Yeah, there's a lot of things I said. There's a lot of things I've written that I've never put out there.
You had no intent of it ever being read. Just wanted to do something.
Makes me feel better. I've written a whole chapter, like 5,000 words of something I probably never publish.
Really?
So yeah.
Okay. Well, you publish a blog every week, and this week you recounted some of the things you just mentioned, but that's not all you do. You have a weekly podcast that releases Saturday morning. Mm-hmm. In fact, I don't get it on Saturday morning. I clock out and I catch it on the way home.
That's just when I post it, yeah.
But the title was Do Something. I was trying to kind of tee it up earlier, just doing recreational writing. To do something.
I didn't get it.
It was kind of weak, to be honest. But But Dale, every week, first of all, I'm impressed with your talent, your vocal talent, your command, not only over the language, which doesn't surprise me. You're a writer. I mean, words are your stock in trade, but the delivery is that of someone who is a veteran, radio or some other vocal personality, and. The words just come, but your podcast, Do Something.
Yeah, and if you have any friends you can reach out to and tell them what you just told me about.
I don't have any friends.
Yeah, so I'd like to get that on a bigger platform. So other than you and a couple other people listening, which I appreciate.
I am trying to help. I'm trying to figure out a way to connect you to Bobby Bowden, Coach Bowden.
I appreciate that. We're getting ready to do something. Hopefully, he would be. A good asset with, but we got some good news today, actually, and this would be no secret either. So I don't tell secrets, but we our Kentucky book that Dr. John Wong and I are writing, be out. We're trying to get it pushed up, but be out either the end of this year or first of next year. Kentucky Passion. It's written. It's a fun book. It's really a fun. And I'm not a UK fan, but it's a really good book, motivational book. But we today got official word that we actually got the foreword is going to be written by Kyle Macy, who is, if you know anything about Kentucky basketball, is as big a name as you can get, as big as Dan Issel, or it's just an awesome name to have on the book.
Who makes all these arrangements for the forewords?
We do.
The author, the writer.
Yeah, John did a lot of this. John did the legwork on this one because he knows John. The other ones I've done them. All the forwards I've had to secure them. I had to secure Jim Tressel, Ohio State's former coach, who didn't know me, and I've shared that story here. I didn't know Jim Tressel, but he wrote the foreword of my book, and after badgering him, and then after polite. Yeah, I think I have shared
persistence,
not being pushy, and then Blaine Boyer, who I talked about on my podcast, wrote the foreword to my first Dugout Devotions. Blaine was an awesome player. He pitched for Boston at the time. I met with him. He was the Red Sox came into Cleveland, so I went up to Cleveland, sat down with Blaine in the dugout for, oh my gosh, we must have been there 25 minutes before the game, just talking about things. And great relationship, and good friend of mine who's the international scouting director for Boston put me in contact with him. And so we met, and then I texted him a little bit later. I said, hey, would you consider writing the foreword for my book? He said, I'd love to.
Wow.
So that's how that happened. And then, first down devotions, and I get all those. I have to secure those. The author's typically responsible for that. And the one for first down was really a good one because that's a former Buckeye, William White, who's struggling with Lou Gehrig's disease right now. But he had a good NFL career, and he's a former Buckeye, so he wrote the foreword to that book. And so we have to do those. But the podcast was about Blaine's adventure, I guess you would call it, overseas, and he lived out the movie Taken, to where he, he's involved with organizations that try to put an end to the sex slave industry and the trafficking industry, and he put himself in some difficult situations because he just felt the need to do it, and that's what he's involved with now. So in my plea, I guess, was to do something. I obviously don't do that if you don't feel led to do it, because Mike Tomlin, he's the coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, involved in a similar organization. And I talked to Mike about that one Sunday afternoon in Cincinnati. And he just says, we got to get involved in these things. So my ploy and my plea was to do something. Don't just sit back on the sidelines and think other people's going to do your work for you. So yours is doing this. I think mine is the writing and the podcasting. There's something everybody can do if you just do it.
Dale, when I listen to the podcast and hear you talking about it now, the thought that came through my mind is, I can recall going on my first international mission trip, and when you come back, you just want to tell her, it's like the grandparent with a new grandchild. Everybody's got to hear about it. And
I got a new one coming up in June, by the way.
Okay, well, share some pictures with us, would you?
I'd never do that.
So you're real excited, and you can't understand. You want everybody to get involved in this, and people just, well, that's not my cup of tea. Also in disaster relief, we'd before a hurricane, we'd try to muster up a team of volunteers, and people would say, well, that's not my cup of tea. Yeah. And I thought, well, what is? Right. What is your cup of tea? I understand that not everybody's into disaster relief. I understand that not everybody's into international mission trips. But may I ask, what is it that you are into apart from sitting on a pew?
Right. And again, it doesn't have to be glamorous. Obviously, just do something. If it's,
you can shine shoes.
I've done that. Yeah. I didn't do it this year at the Tim Tebow Foundation, but I've shined shoes. Put on a tuxedo and shine shoes. So the point is, do something. Yes, there's this one lady I wrote about in the book. She didn't have a lot of money, but she sent cards out to people. A lot of cards. That was her ministry. Send out cards. Thank you cards. I'm thinking of you cards. I'm praying for you cards. So there's something you can do, even if it's, greet somebody every day, smile at them, pay for someone's coffee. I occasionally would take donuts into the hospice unit late at night. Nobody sees that.
They don't have to. God sees it. In football, there's two types. Here where I went to school, we only had 14 players. So when you have that few players, what you do is you find the best man for the position, for the job. Well, one of the other coaches in Florida, one of the most successful coaches in Florida, retired and later coached at my alma mater and was an abject failure because he came from a large school where the theory was who's the best job, who's the best man for the job versus this is which job. So there's an entirely different philosophy. So what is the point is this. In the kingdom, it's the only thing I know of where you have a significant place of service. No matter how many people step forward, there is a meaningful place of service in the kingdom for you, regardless of your talent or lack thereof. But the initiative comes from you, thus the title of the podcast, Do Something.
Right, and I think I put in my blog, it's just a willingness to do something. I think I was looking for this. Hey, I'll do this. Whatever you want me to do, I'll do it. Then, again, I never wanted ever to write a book. Never on my radar. And so when the events happened, and my wife suggested to do that, and then I said, okay, I'll do it. And then it just kind of happened. I mean, it wasn't overnight, but it happened rather quickly for me, and I'm grateful for that, because I understand that's not the norm, and I'm thankful for that, because it could end, it could end tomorrow. Yeah. So I'm grateful for that, and I appreciate it. So do something, as Blaine said. You don't have to go overseas and go sit in a brothel and secretly videotape people, purchasing other people, and put your life at risk unless you're called. He said, why would I do this unless God told me? Because he said, I don't want to do this. I have a family.
There's a theory. I remember I was doing an international mission trip in Colombia, South America. And people would ask a logical question, isn't that dangerous? Well, yes, but I think what's more dangerous is if God called you to do something, not doing it.
Yeah, exactly, because for a long time I wanted to do something. I didn't know what, and I was kind of miserable, just unfulfilled, right? So I would write for Sports Spectrum here and there a couple times a year thinking I'm doing something big and good, but it wasn't. It was just, I was just really pacifying myself, basically, because my wife sings, both my boys accepted the call to preach at a young age, and I was doing nothing. And I'm supposed to be the leader, and I was doing nothing. So I thought, but I kept wanting to do something. And then obviously when my sister-in-law passed, it kind of got my attention, and then the opportunity came along to write the book. And then it's just been a flurry, and it's just been a really, I guess, at not her expense, because she's inevitably better off. But that's all that happened because of her the event there. Yeah.
Well, it could have gone the other way, Dale. A lot of people, when faced with, this is raw, this is unfair, this is grievous. That's what the book deals with. Yeah. You can get bitter, you can get angry, you can withdraw. But I think that's the point of the blog, is when these things come, right? Which they will.
Everybody, again, and I wasn't making our event bigger than anybody else's, but to us, it was big. Mm-hmm. But so it was a pretty big event across the southern half of the state here. A lot of people follow that story. Again, she got messages from Urban Meyer, from Big Daddy Weave, things like that. So, it was amazing.
Well, it's comforting to know your life meant something, because I've been to family members' funerals that there were half a dozen people there, and it's like, whatever happens, I don't want it to end this way. No. No.
Right.
Go down on a ball of flame or something, but don't rust out.
So we've got a lot of things coming up over the next several weeks. A book launch here in a couple of weeks. It'll be fun. And then a couple others coming up. It's going to be a busy year, but it'll be a good year, and we're thankful for that. And then a couple more next year. So, and then podcast is Saturday. So I don't know what it'll be on Saturday either. I have no idea.
Well, Dale, it's going to be a big year, and we appreciate you visiting with us every Tuesday night and just taking that leadership position. And you've always got something interesting to share. You've never, it's never disappointed me. And you're a good person. I love what you're doing for the kingdom, and it's just a real privilege and a real honor to have you here as part of our PJNet team.
Well, get me a meeting with Bobby Bowden. I'll fly down there, and we'll go play golf or fishing.
There you go. All right, deal. Folks, that was Dale Didway, who appears every Tuesday night. And you are looking at one of many views of the many orbiting cameras here at the PJNet broadcast facilities, which make this program possible. Boy, what a great night it's been. Appreciate everybody in the chat room, especially. It's just so great. When I finish here, the first thing I do is read the chat and drink me a cup of coffee. I think I announced the other day we're holding off on highlights videos because I am learning this animation, and it's going to take hundreds of hours. And furthermore, next week I am scheduled to work 99 hours in 9 days straight. So no, not going to be up till 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock doing, but we'll give it a break. I think it might turn out to be a good thing. But folks, you got to throw something overboard to make new things happen. And I'm just as excited. I'm like a little kid with new toys on Christmas. This is just the greatest thing. And thank you so much for those of you who support what we're doing here. And by the support, I mean your prayers. I mean your encouraging text messages, your encouraging emails and private messages on Facebook and such. So I really appreciate you all. Before I leave, in view of what Del just said, do something. What is the boldest thing you've ever done for Jesus Christ? And, well, when was that? Hope none of us are satisfied with either answer.